The early days of Indo-Russian ties, a friendship forged in time. India and Russia share a friendship that has lasted for many years. For a long time, Russia, formerly the Soviet Union, has been a key friend to India in defense. They've provided India with important tools and machines to help protect its borders. This relationship has deep roots going back many decades. In the 1960s, about 70% of India's military equipment came from the Soviet Union. This trust was built on shared ideas and a common understanding of the world situation at that time. A very important moment in this friendship was the year 1971. India and the Soviet Union signed the Indo-Soviet Treaty of Peace, Friendship and Cooperation. This treaty was like a promise between the two countries to stand by each other. Even though the Soviet Union changed and became Russia, the strong connection in defense continued. The old agreements and the history of working together created a path for future cooperation. This long history of trust and successful partnership has made the Indo-Russian defense connection very special. Moving into more recent times, the defense friendship between India and Russia has continued to grow stronger. Over the years, Russia has sold a huge amount of military equipment to India, totaling around $80 billion. From 2005 to 2025, this amount increased significantly to $50 billion. This highlights a growing reliance and a deepening of strategic ties. In the last 20 years, India bought Russian arms worth $60 billion. This amount made up 65% of all the weapons India imported from other countries. One of the most recent examples is a deal signed in March 2025 with Rosoboronexport for new engines for India's T-72 battle tanks. The new engines will make these tanks much better and more effective on the battlefield. This tank engine deal also includes transfer of technology. Russia will share the knowledge of how to make these engines with an Indian state-owned company. This helps India learn how to make its own advanced defense equipment. It supports India's goal of becoming more self-reliant in defense production. Now, when we talk about powering the Indian Army, tanks, engines and rifles play a crucial role. The Indian Army relies heavily on Russian equipment to protect the country's land borders. India has about 2,400 T-72 tanks, originally designed in Russia. The recent deal for new engines will upgrade these T-72 tanks. The new engines will give them much more power and speed. Besides the T-72 tanks, the Indian Army also uses the more modern T-90 tanks. The combination of T-72S and T-90S gives the Indian Army a strong tank capability. It's not just tanks that come from Russia or are made with Russian help. The Indian soldiers also use Russian-designed assault rifles. A new rifle, the AK-203, is now being made in India through a joint production deal. By July 2024, about 35,000 of these rifles had already been delivered to the Indian Army. This joint production helps the Army get modern weapons and builds India's own defense industry. This cooperation shows how deep and practical the defense ties between India and Russia are. And finally, let's talk about the Guardians of the Skies. The Indian Air Force has a very strong connection with Russia. Many of its fighter jets and other important air systems come from Russia. One of the main fighter jets used by the Indian Air Force is the Su-30 MKI. The Indian Air Force operates around 259 of these aircraft. These jets are very important for protecting India's airspace. In 2024, a new contract was given to produce 12 more Su-30 MKI jets in India. Russia is also offering India its newest fighter jet, the Su-57. Beyond fighter jets, a significant defense system that India has acquired from Russia is the S-400 air defense system. This system is designed to shoot down enemy aircraft, missiles and drones from a very long distance. India received 3 squadrons of the S-400 system in 2023 and expects 2 more by 2025. The S-400 deal is a major milestone in the India-Russia defense relationship. Having the S-400 gives India a strong defensive shield and acts as a deterrent against potential threats. The cooperation in the air domain highlights the comprehensive nature of their defense ties. Section 5, Ruling the Waves, Strengthening India's Naval Capabilities. The defense cooperation between India and Russia also extends to the seas. A significant recent development is India's agreement to buy 4 stealth frigates from Russia. 2 of these frigates will be built in Russia, and the other 2 will be built in India with Russian help. The first of these advanced warships was commissioned into the Indian Navy in December 2024. The second frigate is expected to join the Navy in 2025. Another important aspect of naval cooperation is India's plan to lease a Russian nuclear-powered attack submarine by 2028. Leasing such a submarine will greatly enhance the Indian Navy's underwater capabilities. This continued naval cooperation shows how Russia is helping India become a stronger maritime power. The long-standing relationship with Russia in the naval sector provides India with access to crucial technologies and platforms. Section 6. Working together. The BrahMos missile, a joint success story. One of the most successful examples of defense cooperation between India and Russia is the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. This missile is a product of a joint venture between India and Russia. The name BrahMos comes from the Brahmaputra in India and the Moskva in Russia. The BrahMos missile is very important for India's defense. It is a supersonic cruise missile, making it very difficult for enemies to intercept. It can be launched from land, air, and sea. The Indian Armed Forces have deployed the BrahMos missile system along its borders. The success of the BrahMos missile is not limited to India's own use. It has also become an important defense export for India. Countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia have shown interest or have already acquired this missile system. The BrahMos project highlights how the India-Russia defense relationship has evolved from a simple buyer-seller model to one of joint development and production. Section 7. Why this friendship matters. Strategic gains for both nations. The strong defense relationship between India and Russia is very important for both countries. For India, this partnership is crucial because of the security challenges it faces in its neighborhood. Russia has been a reliable supplier of advanced weapons and equipment that India needs. India follows a foreign policy strategy called multi-alignment, maintaining good relationships with many countries. The defense relationship with Russia is a key part of this strategy. For Russia, the relationship with India is valuable economically and strategically. India has been a major buyer of Russian arms, providing significant economic benefits to Russia's defense industry. Beyond the economic aspect, Russia sees its partnership with India as a way to balance its own international relationships. This approach helps keep India engaged and ensures that the strategic partnership remains strong. Section 8. New roads, new friends challenges, and India's changing ways. Despite the long and strong defense ties, the relationship between India and Russia faces some new challenges. The ongoing war in Ukraine has created difficulties for Russia's defense industry. This could lead to delays in delivering systems that India has ordered from Russia. Western sanctions imposed on Russia have also created challenges. Because of these challenges, India is trying to diversify its military procurement sources. Over the past 5 years, countries like the United States, France, and Israel have become important defense suppliers to India. India is also promoting its Made in India initiative to develop and manufacture defense equipment within the country. This reduces dependence on foreign suppliers and helps build India's own defense industrial base. Section 9. Looking ahead, the future of a special defense partnership. Looking towards the future, the defense relationship between India and Russia is likely to continue, but will also keep evolving. Data suggests that India is gradually moving away from a strategy heavily centered on Russia for its defense needs. However, this does not mean the end of the defense ties with Russia. A large part of India's current military equipment is of Russian origin. All this equipment needs regular maintenance, spare parts, and upgrades. Therefore, India will need to continue working closely with Russia. Experts believe that the future of Russo-Indian defense ties will likely be one of managed equilibrium. India will continue to engage with Russia for essential defense needs while diversifying its sources of weapons. Despite the challenges, the defense relationship between India and Russia is seen as resilient. The bond itself is expected to endure, adapting to new realities.